Hi, welcome to Mondays with Melissa. In the past, we've talked about Medicaid home care or community Medicaid, and we've talked about financial eligibility for Medicaid benefits. What I want to talk a little bit about today is the medical eligibility piece. So when somebody is financially eligible for Medicaid and we file an application, get an approval from the Department of Social Services, after that, an assessment has to be done of the individual in their home to determine how many hours of coverage Medicaid is going to pay for. So it's not automatic 24/7 coverage. It's not just whatever you feel you need for your loved one. It's going to be based on an assessment. We typically will recommend that you have at least 3 assessments from different managed long-term care plans to really get a good idea of what Medicaid is going to cover, and of course, try to get the most number of hours. Some of the things that they look at when they do an assessment, we call the activities of daily living, or ADLs. That is bathing, dressing, grooming, toileting, transferring, and feeding. Feeding is not preparing a meal, but plate to mouth, being able to actually eat. So when somebody is living at home, the MLTC, the Managed Long-Term Care Plan, will come in to determine whether they can do any of these things, all of these things, some of these things. Now, it's interesting because many times, and just as an example, I have families come in and they say to me, no, mom can dress herself just fine. But then I find out as we continue talking that maybe mom is always wearing pajamas, or she's always wearing a sweatsuit, or her clothes are stained, or she's always wearing the same thing. But because she's dressed, when they arrive to see her, they say yes, she can dress herself. So these are the types of things we want to speak to family members about before the assessment to make sure that everything is being presented properly to the assessor so we can help our families get the most Medicaid hours possible. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you next week.